everybody. Moon Dust here. Let's talk about the games happened on Tuesday. We only had 2 games, and they're not exactly marquee matchups because all the good matchups happened on Monday. So on Tuesday, we had Detroit versus the Warriors and the Timberwolves versus the Knicks. Well, the Timberwolves and the Knicks, the two teams are kind of equal in strength, so that one was good, kind of close. After this game, the Timberwolves, they are the 9th seed. And the Kings are right there. The Spurs, they're like 1 or 2 games. But I could totally see the Timberwolves make the play-ins at least with their quote-unquote young core. A great win for them. Anthony Edwards played huge minutes, 39 actually. That's surprising. They have people out this game. On the season, he's only averaging... Well, he's not averaging 39. Yeah, well, on the season, he's actually averaging 35. So that's a lot of minutes, and he's a guy that I like to target. If you have a top 40 player, like if you have an OG Anunoby, you try to get Anthony Edwards always. He just have better counting stats. 22 points. I'm surprised he's only averaging 20. Last year let me check last year's stats. Because they do have a lot of weapons on this team. Yeah, last year he averaged 19, so he did improve his points by 3 points. But last year, for majority of the season, he was kind of coming the bench. Like later half of the season, he was averaging 22 points already. But the big improvement is the steals. Across the board. The free throw efficiency also improved by 2%. Although that's very volatile, he could just go back to 78, 77 after some bad shooting nights. And 44% from the field, also like a 2% increase. So overall, he's been great. Been turning over the ball a lot, 3.2 turnovers. But the counting stat from this guy is very, very solid in my opinion. Jared Vanderbilt. He played 33 minutes. Did grab 7 rebounds. He didn't do anything in the first half. Like everything across the board is 0. Glad he had an okay. Well, at least he grabbed 7 rebounds. Everything else was bad. Have 4 personal fouls. He really struggles versus the Knicks. Is it Julius Randle who's giving him trouble? Sometimes it just depends on the matchups. Julius Randle is one of his own. Like, if you look at all the power forwards in the league, he's kind of like Zach Randolph. Well, a more mobile version of Zach Randolph, for sure. I don't think anybody in the league right now plays like Randle. I guess Zion, they're kind of a little bit similar. They're a bit undersized power forward, but they're faster than a lot of the, center or bigger guys. So they could drive by, they could easily drive by them. And Reynolds also got a jump shot. I mean, he's not the greatest jump shooter. Let's check out this. Okay, we'll talk about we'll talk about Randle now. Actually, 21 points, 2 steals, and 4 blocks. Those are great numbers. Really good bounce back game, and 4 blocks would really help his block average. Randle in the last 2 weeks. After this game, let's see where he's at in the last 2 weeks. After a huge game like this, still 123rd ranked player. And after this game, just only averaging 0.9 blocks. So he wasn't blocking any shot, wasn't getting a lot of steals either. And only averaging 16 points, 10 rebounds, 5.7 assists in the last one, shooting 37%. He still struggled from the field this game again. 9 for 11 from the free throw line. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Randle lately. His efficiency was bad, like across the board. Just not great. But points, rebound, assists, like I said, they're pretty tough to get on the waiver wire. So let's say you give the guy some steals, you get Randle back. I think that's totally fine. That's totally fine. RJ, 17 points is nice, but has 7 turnovers, 3 for 6. 6 for 16 from the field. That's just gonna happen with RJ a lot of the times. Like I think turnovers and field goal, they are less of a concern is the free throws. Like 3 for 6 from the free throw is worse than 6 for 16 from the field. 7 turnovers, although, is also very, very bad. But I think if you're pounding free throws, RJ is a fun guy to have. If you're pounding free throws. Guess who went off this game? Evan Fournier. 37 minutes. So this is a good time to sell him. He's not gonna do this again. Maybe he would. If he catches fire, right? He could have big games like this. But I don't expect him to do this very often. And Knicks rotation. And Emmanuel quickly with with Kemba back playing 9 minutes, Alec Burks playing 16. What are you gonna do with Alec Burks? Like I would just drop Alec Burks, to be honest. As long as Kemba is healthy, at the moment it doesn't look like Alec Burks is gonna get huge minutes. And who knows when Derrick Rose comes back, or if Kemba gets hurt again. We just don't know what's gonna happen with Kemba. Kemba's minutes, or can he stay healthy, or can he even remain a starter? We just don't know. He played okay. Like he needs to be picked up as well. 19 points, 4 threes, and a steal. But the production from all the Knicks guards, if you can sell them, do a 2-for-1. You always do, because it's very hard to get consistent production out of them. They might have a week they play super well, but the next week, who knows? And who knows what happens when Derrick Rose comes back? Somebody's gonna be out of the rotation. Because I feel like Derrick Rose is just at this point, better than Kemba. They obviously offer different things. Kemba is a way better shooter, but they can both run pick and roll, and I don't know who runs it better. But obviously Kemba can shoot more threes, shoot the 3-ball better than D Rose at this point of their career, I believe. Although D Rose has really picked up his 3-point shooting, like he was not a great 3-point shooter. Now he shoots some, he make a little bit. All right, let's talk about the second game. This game wasn't really close. Detroit at Golden State. Thompson leads Warriors to wire victory. Okay. I guess the Detroit kind of made a comeback in the third quarter, but the game was out of reach. So for a lot of guys, the minutes would be a bit low. Killian Hayes left the game. He probably gonna miss tomorrow's game. So if you got him, it's fine to drop. This guy gets hurt a lot. It was different type of injuries as well. Like this game was, I don't know what it is this game. So he hurt his hip a week ago, and then he hurt his hip again. But earlier this season he had like hand issues, ankle issues. Yeah, this guy is, and he's only second year in the league. Not great. Kate Cunningham played just 27 minutes because it's a blowout. Not the best game. He'll bounce back from this. Had 5 turnovers. And also remember, the Warriors, they're a great defensive team. They're a top 3 defense. I didn't check, but just on top of my head, they're really great defensively. Even without Draymond, they play great. Well, not that Detroit is a great offensive team. So that's kind of expected. Isaiah Stewart went off though. That's sure. Inside they have Olynyk and nobody else. 14 points, 11 rebounds, and a block. A fun guy to hold. He's gonna struggle from time to time, but because the blocks, I would, if you really hate him, just try to sell him. Wait for good games, a string of good games, and try to sell him. Hamdou Diallo with the blowout still played 35 minutes. I'm not sure what's going on here. Okay, that's totally fine. 16, still getting production, but once Kelly Olynyk started getting some minutes, how are they gonna fit a Kelly Olynyk? Because Trey Lyles is still playing, so I don't know. Kelly Olynyk can still also be a center as well. So Dwayne Casey got to figure out the rotation, but I don't think Kelly Olynyk is going there to play 30 minutes. It's going to be kind of a mess, I think, maybe Trey Lyles is going to be out of the rotation completely. I don't know what Dwayne Casey is going to do. But if Kelly Olynyk is out there, you can pick him up on the season. Let's see how good he was before he got hurt. Well, he's a 90th ranked player. He's actually averaging 16 points. I don't think he's going to average 16. Oh, that's Kelly Oubre Jr., my bad. Kelly Olynyk is the 159th ranked player, played 10 games. 12 points, that sounds about right. Okay. The reason his ranking is so low because he was shooting 60% from the free throw line. So he's going to be better than that. He's going to be around 75 to 80, and he doesn't get to the free throw line that much, to be honest. 1.4 steals is too high. Probably 1 steal. And 0.7 blocks, it sounds about right. So realistically, he's like a 100 player. So it's fine to have. But if he's going to be out for a while, I don't know. He's still like return to competition reconditioning. If you got an NR, sure. He does have a little bit upside, Because what we see, what he did for the Rockets last year, he was a top 20 player. But I don't think he's going to have that opportunity. Jeremy Grant also going to be back. They have Isaiah Stewart. Although Jeremy Grant could be traded, that would open things up for some of those guys. But they got Diallo, they got Trey Lyles. We don't know. We don't know who Dwayne Casey favors. Saddiq Bey, pretty bad this game. Hit 2 threes and 10 points. So Corey Joseph, maybe you could stream him in the short term. He might get an extra few minutes if Kayler Hayes continues to be out. Trey Lyles continues to come off the bench, put up some shots. 9 shots in 25 minutes, went to the free throw line 12 times, 13 points. Yeah, versus the Warriors, you'd expect big men to, as if they can play huge minutes, because a lot of times they can't even stay on the court on the defensive side. But offensively, they should be okay. They should be getting a lot of offensive room because the Warriors will be very undersized. I don't know how big Jonathan Kuminga is, but they'll be undersized. Okay, let's talk about the last team of the day, the Golden State Warriors. Andrew Wiggins, really good game in just 28 minutes. 3 steals and a block, 19 points, and misses 2 free throws, of course. Wiggins has been getting a lot of defensive stats. 136 ranked player in the last 2 weeks because it's a bad free throw. But just averaging 1 steal and 0.6 blocks. Okay, let's check where he's at on the season. How many defensive stats he's getting. Okay, so not great actually. Just 0.9 steals and 0.6 blocks. I expect him to get a lot more shots though. He should be getting close to 1 block, which would push him into 90. And of course, the free throw is his biggest issue. Ignore the free throws, top 60, 70 to be honest. Jonathan Kuminga, we could continue to stream him. With Draymond Green out, he's going to have a good time. Should be getting like 25, who knows, 30 minutes. This game was a blowout, so everybody's minutes was low. Played well. Kevon Looney, he's a good, I guess he can grab some rebounds. He could be a rebound streamer, that's how he is. And Klay Thompson got 22 minutes. Well, if it wasn't a blowout, maybe 23, 24. But he's a guy that, after games like this, if some guys might be hopeful that, hey, Klay is going to play 30 minutes, you try to sell him. Do a 2-for-1 to get value back. I would do a 2-for-1 to get like a top 60 guy. That's totally fine. Per game basis wise, I don't even think Klay is going to be a top 80 guy per game basis wise, from this point forward. 112th ranked player at the moment on the season, averaging 21 points. 15 points, sure. 2.6 threes, sure. Getting 1 steal in 21 minutes is a bit too high, to be honest. I think at some point he's going to be at 25 minutes, give you 16 points maybe. 16, 17 points with 2.5 threes, which is still great. But again, he's going to miss a bunch of games. So you got to put him in and out of the lineup. And who knows? Can he be a 16-point scorer in 25 minutes? Maybe he could. The Warriors are really looking for him in a lot of the situations. Trying to get him going offensively. Steph Curry, 28 minutes. Curry has been pretty bad lately. Had 3 steals, 8 assists, and 4 threes. He hasn't had a game where you go, wow, 40 points, 50 points. That all happened in the first quarter of the season. So if you saw Curry for Jokic, their production in the last month and a half the difference is pretty big, I think. Gary Payton Jr. now with Klay back, just 14 minutes, so we can move on from him. The guy just gets 14 minutes. It doesn't really matter if he's a still specialist. You should probably have better options out there. Otto Porter Jr. 21. All these guys played just like around 20 minutes this game. Jordan Poole played 21, so I think it's perfectly fine. Like this week they got a good schedule. I think it's fine to move on from him. They do have another game on Thursday, a low volume day. After that, you can do whatever with him, I think. He's not going to play 30 minutes with Klay. That's just not going to happen. Some nights he might play 25, 26. Some nights he might play 23. So he'll be like 23 to 26 range. He might, he could be a streamer. Averaging probably give you 12, 13 points and 2 threes maybe. But everything else is negative, I think. All right, let's go to, there's no more games, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow.